welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318 here on our last week of the semester, the final Monday show. And I just want to kick off the show by saying it's 2:30, and the Stanley Cup is still the worst trophy in professional sports. So we got that out of the way. But it was a big weekend in college
Bear
football.
didn't change your mind?
No, never. It was a big weekend in college football. We've got now our college football rankings. We've got our bowl destination for just about everyone but the 4 unlucky 6-6 teams. I know Barrett's upset about that. But we'll start with Oklahoma State's trip to the Liberty Bowl on December 31st. They are taking on former Big 8 and Big 12 rival Mizzou. The number 24 ranked Tigers are 8-4, so it's I don't know if you would call it a mismatch, but head to the Liberty Bowl. What do you make of the matchup?
I mean, Mizzou's still kind of a Big 12 team. They can score a lot of points. They don't play a ton of great defense. And I kind of agree. I mean, it is a match. It's a mismatch in terms of like ranking and record, but we've talked about it all year. Oklahoma State plays well against these better teams. So, you know, at the end of the day, the talent and all that might match up a lot better than we think. Now, we're not going to have Justice Hill. He's not going to be there. He's going to be pursuing future endeavors, as we saw on Twitter. But I think this is going to be a good bowl game. I was looking forward to a potential Texas A&M matchup because I felt like our guys would get up to play more for that game. But a Mizzou Big 12 reunion kind of deal. I like it. What do you think?
I think Drew Locke's he's kind of like Will Grier. I think he's better than Will Grier, to be honest with you. It'll be like I'm kind of like you. It's like what Oklahoma State team's going to show up.
Yeah.
I know that this team is more than capable of out-coaching Barry Odom and outplaying Mizzou because outside of those 2 trips to the SEC title game in their first 2 years, they've been an embarrassment to the SEC. Yeah. So, I mean, in an up year for Barry Odom, I'm going to be real honest with you. Barry Odom is a weird hire. I know he played at Mizzou. He was coaching at Mizzou. Maybe the right hire for them, what they were facing internally a couple of years ago. Yeah. But they found their way to 8-4, ranked in the top 25. I think that they can force Drew Lock into some turnovers, but if the bad Oklahoma State team shows up, they'll get blown out.
Yeah, and like you just said, if this team doesn't show up, if we see the team that we saw against Kansas State, we're going to lose by 30. But if we get the team that shows up for Texas, West Virginia, and OU, we could win by 10 points, you know?
Yeah.
We've said it all season. That's just how this team is. It's the most polarizing, most confusing team, at least for Oklahoma State, I think, probably ever, as far as what you're going to get each week.
Yeah, it's weird because you look at Oklahoma State's bowl record and their results in the bowl. It either seems like OSU, kind of what you've got this season, either they beat somebody handily or they get blown out. There's never a lot of close games, it doesn't feel like, in these bowl games. Yeah. It was somewhat close last year, but ended up with a convincing win over Virginia Tech, a team that also struggled this year. But I think that they are more than capable, but as we'll get into it Friday, I just don't know what team will show up.
Yeah, I don't think they do, honestly. I don't think they'll know until the kickoff.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, it's a fun matchup in Memphis. It's close for Mizzou, relatively close for Oklahoma State. I think there will be good numbers.
Good crowd.
Yeah, from there. But it is New Year's Eve in Memphis, so I think it's a good matchup. Justice Hill, as you said, and Larry Williams are not playing due to future endeavors. We know what that is for Justice Hill. I'm not sure that I know what that is for Larry Williams.
I don't either.
But you would think the pros are in mind for both guys. So now we'll get into the college football playoff. And I feel like we'll talk about the college football playoff. We'll get into the results of what happened this weekend maybe on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But obviously we have to talk about the college football playoff now. So the Alabama Crimson Tide beat Georgia in the SEC championship game because Kirby is not so smart in making his decisions. They are taking on the Sooners, who won the Big 12 over the Texas Longhorns on Saturday. And then our matchup of 2 and 3 is Clemson and Notre Dame. So I will pose the question to you. Did the committee get it right?
No, I don't think so. I think Georgia's still one of the best 4 teams just because of how close they played. And obviously the coaching staff kind of blew it at the end, but there you're seeing the top 6. I think the top 6 is in general right. Maybe you could say Ohio State's not one of the 6 best teams after that Purdue loss. And I think Georgia should be somewhere in the top 4. And I don't know if that means you take Notre Dame out or if you take Oklahoma out. I don't think you can get it right with just a 4-team playoff. There's always going to be one guy that's not in there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You go to an 8-team, 9-10 are going to be bad.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think Ohio State was deserving.
I don't either. I think that Michigan win was all the committee needed to put them in the top 6. I'm surprised they aren't in the top 5 after this week, after their win over Northwestern. But yeah, number 6 is the only one I think that doesn't belong to be there. But the rest of them I can kind of get. I would change the order. I'm trying to decide who I would take out to put Georgia in. I know Notre Dame's undefeated. It might be that Notre Dame team because I'm just not sure how good they are.
Well, here I don't think the committee got it right either. But here's where the lines are blurred. And I mean, listen, guys down in the Oklahoma City media were, how outlandish it is. Well, the people that know more than those guys about college football thought Georgia should be in.
Yeah.
Because Georgia's a better football team than OU.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hard-pressed to argue that. But they were making the argument that you had to put OU in. And yes, you do. But the idea is to get the 4 best college football teams in this playoff. Mm-hmm. Did they do that? Did they accomplish that? Absolutely not. But here's what's even more crazier. If we're going to sit down here and have a logical discussion about these football teams, Notre Dame, in my mind, is not one of the top 4 football teams in the country. I would probably put OU, Clemson, Georgia, and OU in there.
You mean Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama, Clemson, OU, and Georgia.
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought it should have shaped up at the end. But they hold on to the undefeated, and I guess Notre Dame has enough history for them to it. I don't know. It's about resume one year, and then it's about the best 4 teams the next year. This system's really flawed, and it's new, so it's going to get better as it goes on. It's not going to be. Hopefully, there's not as many bad misses, but I don't know if we'll ever get a playoff where the best 4 teams are in it.
Well, as far as Notre Dame's concerned, I don't think you can't put a legitimate Power 5 team who's undefeated. You can't leave them out. And when I say legitimate Power 5 team, you know who I'm referring to, and that's the UCF Golden Knights.
Do you think they deserve to be higher than 8?
No. Do
you think they deserve to be lower than 8? Or you think
I mean, 8's fine. In all actuality, if we played each other, I mean, if you put UCF in the Big 12, they're probably a 3-loss team. You put them in the ACC, they're probably a 2-loss team. They're a really good football team with a lot of talent. But let's not, I mean, Chris posed the idea earlier. Well, what if they go beat LSU? So what? I don't take a win over Auburn and a win over LSU and a win over Memphis. I don't take those at face value because they don't go to LSU and then play Alabama. They don't play Georgia and then play Florida. If you're in the SEC, you're in the Big 12, you're playing these teams week in and week out. So don't try and sell me that crap that, UCF can beat them in a head-to-head one time. Sure, but if they play week in and week out, UCF would falter.
What if they were able to sprinkle some of these guys like in their non-conference?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're showing it next year with a couple years.
Stanford, I think.
Stanford.
Yeah.
So, but UCF's, I mean, they're stuck in college football purgatory. It is what it is. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And if they don't like it, go play at another school. Because I don't think anyone legitimately goes to play at the University of Central Florida to win a national title.
Yeah.
They go there because that was their best option. You go to Alabama to win national titles. You go to Georgia for a chance to play at a national title, even OU, not Central Florida.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that Notre Dame is one of the 4 best teams, but you can't leave them out if they're undefeated.
Yeah.
And OU, I mean, can you imagine there's a little bit of backlash for leaving Georgia out, but there was enough there with the 2 losses to leave them out.
Yeah.
If you leave Georgia or Oklahoma out, then you're complicating how much a conference championship really means. Then you're compromising everything. Yeah. And in OU's defense, the team that they lost to was their biggest rival by 3 points.
Yeah, and then they beat them in the conference championship game. I will say this where they got it right. Georgia ahead of Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely.
Ohio State, I'm stuck on this. They are not one of the 6 best teams in college football. I still think Michigan might be a better football team, but Ohio State probably has Jim Harbaugh's number, and he can't seem to coach a good game against them. So, yeah, and like you said, the conference championship thing definitely matters. So I can understand how they end up putting Oklahoma in there, but let me ask you this. If Oklahoma still wins the Big 12 championship, but Georgia beats Alabama and wins the SEC, does Georgia leapfrog OU and get in there?
Oh, yeah. If Georgia would have won on Saturday, you would have kept the same 4 teams in. Georgia would have been out because they weren't taking Alabama out, I promise you
You
that.
don't think they take Notre Dame out since they don't play in a conference championship?
Notre Dame's a brand.
I know.
And I honestly don't think Notre Dame's that good, and I don't think their schedule's that good.
Yeah.
But you can't take an undefeated blue blood out. That's just not how that works. At the end of the day, it is a business. These things matter. So leaving Notre Dame in ultimately is the right decision.
Yeah.
As we'll get into Friday, I think Clemson blows Notre Dame out.
Yeah. Notre Dame only beat 4 ranked teams throughout the season, by the way. And they beat Syracuse. They beat Michigan, obviously, to start the year. Let me see who else they just beat. They beat Virginia Tech, 24 Virginia Tech, and then Stanford.
A Virginia Tech team that's now 5-7.
Yeah.
Stanford at the time was a top 10 team.
Yes.
They didn't pan out to be ranked in the top 25.
Yeah.
And Northwestern's good but not great. You saw Ohio State and Michigan both beat them as well.
Yeah.
So
they beat Florida State. That's obviously a down team this year. Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, Ball State, FSU.
What was the score of that Ball State game?
24-16.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to believe they're one of the 4 best teams in college football. We will see on December 29th, but I'm not putting much stock into Brian Kelly and the Fighting Irish.
I wouldn't either.
Well, we'll certainly get into predict these games, go down our list of bowl games. Texas faces Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, UCF and LSU in the Fiesta, Washington and Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. There is some good New Year's Day games that we will get into, and obviously Oklahoma State and Mizzou in the Liberty Bowl on December 21st or 31st, excuse me. So we both agreed that the committee didn't get it right.
Right.
So there is, there's that, and like I said, we'll get into that at the week. One question I'll ask you really quickly is because Barrett is just so mind blown by this, and I don't know, I can't necessarily say that he's wrong. Texas 9-4 lost to West Virginia, but they finished ranked
ahead of West Virginia. It's not right. It's ridiculous. I mean, Texas lost they both lost to us.
Yes.
Texas beat OU, but West Virginia beats Texas and finishes with a better record.
Yeah.
Or is it a better record technically? They were both
Well, at the end of the day, I think West Virginia would have 9 wins, but the one game against NC State got canceled because of a hurricane.
I forgot about that. I wondered why. Okay, that explains why their records are so different. But yeah, it's because it's Texas. You know how everyone loves Texas. Texas forced a couple teams out of the Big 12 not too long ago.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
They dropped 1 spot after getting blown out.
Yeah, it's not right. West Virginia should be ranked ahead of Texas.
Well, I think we can both agree on that. So the coaching changes around college football are taking place, especially here in the Big 12. David Beatty was let go at Kansas. Les Miles is now ahead at the helm of the Jayhawks. Kingsbury out in Lubbock. Matt Wells was hired from Utah State. A move that everyone saw coming, but it's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
As Bill Snyder is out. He's retired. He wasn't fired, but he is retiring now as the head coach in his second stint of Kansas State. Before he got there in the late 80s, they had lost 27 straight, and they had 4 winning seasons in the previous 52 years.
That's crazy. He totally changed that program. I saw a picture today of before he got there and the stadium was empty for a game, and then after. And it's obviously it's the Bill Snyder family stadium now. It was packed. He did a lot of good for that school. Hopefully whoever takes the helm next can kind of continue the success of that football program.
It's an interesting job, much like Oklahoma State. Harder to succeed when you're playing blue bloods, especially in your conference, and to make a difference. He was known for the handwritten letters and being a class act. He's a college football Hall of Famer, a great football coach, and probably a better person. So we will miss Bill Snyder in the Big 12, but look for a new hire in Manhattan. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about everyone who lost their job in the NFL as well. Right after this, we're going to take a break on 101 OCC Radio, KCUI Summit, Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit Facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAST prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One on Ocean Student Radio KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318 here at Oklahoma State. So a lot happened in the NFL yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of guys not going to be there on next Sunday.
No, we will start, like our bump in says, with Mike McCarthy. He was fired after 12 seasons as a head coach of the Green Bay Packers. He was 125, 77, and 2, 10-8 in the playoffs, won a Super Bowl, went to 3 NFC Championship games, made the playoffs 9 times. And like I said, won that Super Bowl in 2010. I think that everyone saw this coming. He was probably going to be fired. Did not get along with Aaron Rodgers, which we'll get into. But everyone was shocked that he was fired yesterday after a loss to the Cardinals. Do you think it was the right thing, 1, to fire him, and 2, to fire him yesterday?
I think it was the right move to fire him. I think whatever was happening between him and Aaron Rodgers was not fixable. It was doomed anyway. I think we can all say it's kind of been doomed for a long time, their relationship. Was it right to fire him yesterday? I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but the guy did have like a long-standing history with the organization. He won him a Super Bowl, was the coach there for a long time. I can understand wanting to wait until the end of the season, because after yesterday, they lost their chance to make the playoffs anyway. Yeah. So I can understand both sides. I don't have a problem with him being fired yesterday. I think he should have been fired a couple weeks ago, honestly. Aaron Rodgers seemed to have quit on him a lot earlier in the season. It just seemed like they weren't playing as hard as they could be. They weren't trying to save his job. Aaron Rodgers especially was not trying to save his job. And we've kind of been talking about, we haven't seen the same Aaron Rodgers that we usually do all year. Do you think it's because he kind of wanted to send a message to the organization like, you're paying me all this money, I'm kind of calling the shots, get him out of here?
Yes, and I don't think that yesterday was necessarily the right time to fire him. People are trying to use the excuse, well, you get a jump start on. That's a lie, because they known that this decision was coming. They've already got people in mind. That's a load of crap.
And they don't need a head start. This is probably the best head coaching vacancy. Yeah.
It's probably the most historic franchise in the sport.
And you get Aaron Rodgers,
one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yeah, I don't think anyone's taking any other job over this one. So, no, I would have waited. All he's done for the franchise, he's known for being a class act. My problem is with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. He's an elite quarterback. He's not an elite person. And that has been well known. His teammates have not liked him. Winning covers up a lot of issues. Aaron Rodgers is not a great guy to play with,
Yeah.
and he's not a good guy to coach. And that makes finding the next head coach that much harder because it is a
Yeah.
desirable job with his talent and the history in Green Bay. But how many people are going to get there and be like, yeah, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So I think,
go get Hugh Jackson.
well, I think even with Aaron Rodgers, Hugh Jackson might.
Hugh Jackson was blown away by the fact that someone had 100 career wins as a coach and got fired. Guy won 2 games in 3 years. I don't know why I decided to just take a shot at Hugh Jackson like that, but
it's pretty easy to.
It is.
I mean, it is what it is. But no, I don't think yesterday was the right time to fire him. I do agree with making a change, but maybe not the way they did.
At the end of the day, though, it doesn't
matter.
It doesn't. Like, out of respect, you could have waited till the end of the year. But maybe he wanted out kind of too. Maybe he was like, this is unbearable. I can't talk to this guy. I'm having a terrible time. Please fire me.
Well, I mean, he was going to be game planning for somebody in probably below freezing, knowing he wasn't going to be coaching past the season. I mean, now, he can buy a ticket to Mexico and
you can go have fun. Go vacation.
Have a margarita on the beach and, watch the Packers lose on Sunday.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the best thing. So into another serious topic that obviously bothers me quite a bit is Kareem Hunt. We talked about the video just broke Friday when we did the show. He was released 6 hours after the video came to light from TMZ. He was placed on the commissioner's list. Then the Chiefs released him. He will be on waivers until 5 p.m. today. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, if he clears waivers, he will be a free agent. Probably not going to play again this year no matter what.
Yeah.
Probably facing a 6-game suspension. I do think he will play in the league again. Do you think it was the right move for the Chiefs to cut Kareem Hunt?
Yeah. I think with the way the NFL looks as far as domestic violence, the way the images of the NFL as far as that goes, I think the Chiefs – they did the right thing. They got out in front of it. They showed their no tolerance policy. And I've seen people try and compare him to Tyreek Hill, another guy that had domestic violence issues while he was here at Oklahoma State. But that's totally different, I think, because he had the issues before the Chiefs drafted him. The Chiefs had all the chance in the world to interview him, do background work, and decide whether or not he had really changed as a person from that incident. And so that's why I don't really compare those two, because he did this incident while he was on the team, and then, as you know, he lied about it to the team when the team asked him about it back in, I think it was the spring, whenever it occurred. But I think he'll play again. Like you said, I don't think it'll be this year. I'm trying to decide who needs him enough and is willing to take the PR hit at first
the
to
Cleveland
take him.
Browns.
I could see that.
John Dorsey drafted him.
Yeah.
And John Dorsey's the guy who took a chance. He will take chances on people. But they do have a talented running back in Nick Chubb there now.
Yeah.
He's only 23.
Right. This is only his second year in the league.
And he's been pretty remarkable, obviously, in a very talented offensive system that's beneficial to him. But he is very talented. It hurt to lose a guy like that.
But you got to feel good about your organization, though, right? That they took this kind of stance.
I think you kind of mentioned the Tyreek Hill thing, and people are like, well, why don't you cut Tyreek Hill? Well, do your research. If you're going to make an argument like that, figure out what's going on. Tyreek Hill, as you said, that occurred here in Stillwater. They did their due diligence on him, and he's cleaned his life up. He's a tremendous thing in the community and what he does now. Obviously, an amazing talent on the field. When this occurred, the Chiefs gave Kareem Hunt time and time again to tell the truth.
Right.
Kareem Hunt was not cut because of what occurred in that video.
Yeah.
That was unacceptable, inexcusable, and pretty sickening, to be honest with you. But let's get something very clear. The Kansas City Chiefs did not watch that video and say, this is why we're cutting you. They watched that video and they said, we asked you about this, and you lied to us. You betrayed us. We were going to help you. We were helping you, and you lied. You will never be a Kansas City Chief again.
Yeah.
That video is awful. That video is not what got him cut, him lying and not owning up to him. Because I guarantee you, if you would have told him that he did those things, they would have suspended him and they would have worked with him to make him a better person. But he lied, and that's why the Kansas City Chiefs cut him.
Yeah, and, you know, the NFL drives me nuts with this kind of stuff because they said they couldn't get a hold of the video, but TMZ could get a hold of it. And if it's part of a police report, the NFL could definitely get it, and it sounds like it was part of a police report. So I don't. The league in general.
The National Football League doesn't want you to watch that video. It doesn't want me to watch that video. It doesn't want anyone to watch that video. The league doesn't care who plays for them. They care about what it affects. And if they could bury that video and no one saw it and this never came to light, they were perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. I wish they would just say that, though. Because they come out with a statement and they're like, we're investigating this. We were not aware of this. And I'm just like, yes, you were. You had to be. You had to be aware that there was video evidence of it. And you had to be aware that you could obtain it if you wanted to. But they just don't.
They don't want to.
They don't care.
No, they don't. And that's a part of the big business that the NFL is. But I don't, at the end of the day, it does suck to see a guy with that much talent. But at the end of the day, it's more about being a good organization and a good person. And the Chiefs aren't done with Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs will vouch for Kareem Hunt. There's a good article on The Athletic if you want to go read it about what occurred when he was cut by the owner and all of his coaches, all the ownership and GM and everyone like that. He was very upset. He pleaded, according to the article, and they just wouldn't do it. But they are willing to help him, make sure he continues to get counseling, and they will vouch for him with another team. But he crossed a line that you don't cross with Clark Hunt. And it does hurt, and they struggled without him a little bit yesterday, and it does take an effect on a team who's got a legitimate shot to win their first Super Bowl in 49 years.
Yeah.
But for me as a fan, I can stand by my team. As a Redskins fan, how do you stand by that? If you're a Ravens fan, how would you have stood by that? My team doesn't stand by this, and that feels pretty good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because there is teams like that in this organization. I'm trying not to look at Liam because he's wearing his Redskins. That was not a shot at Liam. But with the Redskins signing at Reuben Foster, at the end of the day, you can feel good about it. I don't know how Redskins fans could feel good about Dan Snyder and the organization signing Reuben Foster.
Liam's giving the thumbs down.
Yeah, and that wasn't saying that Liam necessarily, but and they don't take a poll on the fans before they make these decisions. And that's not to say that Reuben Foster's ever going to play for the Redskins. But there's organizations who make bad decisions all the time. And the Chiefs made the right decision, which is rare in professional sports. And while it does hurt to lose a guy of that caliber, that young, your team made the right move.
Right. And that's what I was saying earlier. You got to feel good about the Chiefs. If you're a fan like yourself, you got to feel good that they took this stance and they're like, no, this is not okay. We'll help you out and we'll help you get counseling. I think that's probably the most important thing in all this, because you can cast a guy aside and he could still do the same thing. But the Chiefs, I think, are making a proactive move to make sure Kareem Hunt doesn't make another mistake like this again.
Right, and there was other incidents that happened within the organization that only the organization knows about, and that also helped with this decision. But, if it is what it is, and the Chiefs will move on. So Mike McCarthy have a job, Kareem Hunt also out of a job for two completely separate reasons.
Yeah.
Tom Brady did rush for 1,000 yards, though. And
took a while.
The Chargers came back and beat the Steelers, which affected our game predictions.
265 games.
Yeah.
Took Tom Brady.
Now it's just counted as kneeling, but since 2006, he's lost like 134 yards on victory formations taking a kneel, so he would have got there a little bit longer.
That's got to feel good, though, if you're losing that on victory formations.
Yeah, I think Tom Brady will take that.
Yeah, I do too.
But the Steelers blew a 23-7 lead in the fourth quarter.
Reed, we were so close. We almost had a perfect week. And your pick, obviously, you always pick against the Chiefs, but that's not true. You don't always believe that. That's just what you do for superstition. It would have been great to have a perfect week, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, they come back. The Texans dominated Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
As we both said.
Forced 3 first-half turnovers. The Chiefs did blow a big lead to the Raiders. But
I thought you were going to be right about that. It was kind of scary.
Broncos beat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Josh Allen had a touchdown to win the game, but he didn't make it. And obviously, we were right on all of our other game picks. So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about Logan's favorite league, the NBA. A lot of interesting topics going on in the association. We're going to take a quick break on 101. You're watching 101 on OSG Student Radio KXUI Sunlink Channel 112. We'll be right back after this.
1-on-1 is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUY, Sudlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. As you're seeing, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. You know, you can't stop a guy. You deserve to be stepped over.
It's not like he got dunked on, though. Like, he was trying to get a chase down block, and he missed.
Don't miss.
And he just fell down. It's not like he crossed him over. It wasn't like when Allen Iverson dropped Ty Lue and got to step over. And, like, Mario Hezonja did nothing. Those were his only points of the game.
The pride of New York City.
Ron Baker.
Yes, Ron Baker. That was
Jason's not out there. Never mind.
That was a New York move.
It was.
That was such a Nick move to do that. 2 points, and he steps over one of the premier guys in the league.
Possibly the league MVP.
A guy that could probably dunk on him and end his career.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I have a problem with this, is what Antetokounmpo said after the game.
He was very upset.
He needs to grow up a little bit. Don't threaten to punch a guy in the groin and stuff like that. Just say it was disrespectful. We'll get him next time. Is it that hard to not say something stupid?
I'm gonna give Giannis a little bit of a pass. His English is not incredible.
Well,
I'm just saying, maybe he couldn't find another word in that moment. You know what I mean?
Then the Bucks need to get him a dictionary.
I agree. I don't know. I can understand why he was upset, though.
I mean, I get it, but at what point did that occur in the game?
I wasn't paying attention in the high. I don't know.
It wasn't that far into the game. I mean, he had other opportunities. They ended up losing the game.
Yeah.
He can't let stuff like that bother him. Get him next time. I thought it was hilarious. For a guy to do that with his only 2 points in the game. By the way, those 2 points ended up being the difference.
That's true, I guess.
I mean, is just.
I can understand. Like,
this is such an NBA story.
Yeah.
Did Adam Thielen threaten to punch Bill Belichick next time he sees them? They got in a little bit of a spat.
They did.
Or vice versa. This only occurs in the NBA, man.
Also, to be fair, this is the only time Giannis has ever really done anything like. But on your point of him being more mature, I don't know if you'll remember this, but a while ago, I think it was maybe last summer or the year before, He went on Instagram and he was
yeah, his Instagram's not PG.
It is not. He kind of needs to grow up about some stuff. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, there were some inappropriate comments on there. Yeah, he needs to grow up a little bit. I think he obviously will. The Bucks are going to protect him at all cost. So Giannis is seeking revenge on him. Patrick Beverley is seeking revenge on a fan, or a fan seeking revenge on him.
Took it out on Dennis Smith Jr.
Only Patrick Beverley could do this.
Yeah.
That guy, somebody should be upset over this. Now, if it's true what the fan said to him, it's still not understandable. You are a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You are still human, but you have got to be able to navigate through these scenarios. You have to navigate through these situations and not hurt yourself and your team like that.
But do you remember when Kevin Durant got fined a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I do.
In Dallas. I don't know for sure, but people are saying it's the same guy. So this guy is goading Kevin Durant into saying some stuff, Patrick Beverley to say some stuff and throw a ball into the stands. This guy might be the ultimate weapon for the Mavericks.
Well, the Spurs should hire him to come down and trash talk Kawhi in a couple weeks. If it
you can't get Kawhi to do anything though. That guy's not going to say anything.
You can get him to wear New Balance. If at the end of the day, this is the same fan, the Mavs have got to
do something about him.
Take him out.
I agree.
And make sure he does not come back and make in situations like this happen again. It's fun. It's pretty incredible that he can get in two guys' heads like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you simply have to tweet to get in Kevin Durant's head.
To be fair, though, the stuff that he's saying is
right.
It's not fair for athletes.
I'm not defending that.
Yeah.
But if I say something like that to you now, you're going to get upset with me.
Yeah.
But if you're say you're playing at Oklahoma State and I say that to you on the basketball court, you're gonna have to. It's like Giannis.
Yeah,
you have to learn how to funnel it. The normal rules of humans go out the window when you're in professional sports.
Yeah.
You have got to be better than that. And to throw a basketball at a fan, first of all, what is that gonna do?
Yeah.
That's just taking, regrettable actions, and it's not gonna change anything. You gotta be better.
I agree, and I think the Mavs kind of have to be better too. Get the fans under control.
Oh yeah, because they're organizationally they make all the right decisions.
Yeah, and there's the tooth.
Oof.
Dennis Smith Jr. lost a tooth. Ugh, that's hard. That's just not fun to watch.
Not a hockey guy.
Yeah, but Dennis Smith Jr. gets up like it's nothing. He's not even the one on the floor in that video. He's walking around fine.
Dennis Smith Jr. That was pretty cool. Hockey.
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle, says it's one of the most competitive things he's seen in a while. It's probably because the Mavs have sucked for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
By the way, totally off topic, how is Rick Carlisle still the coach in Dallas?
I think he won a championship. That bought him a couple of years.
So did Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, and
it's time to move on.
I mean, if Rick Carlisle doesn't find success sometime soon, I would expect him on the hot seat.
Yeah, it's time to make a change.
They're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good this year.
Well,
they're a potential playoff team right now, so.
Luka Doncic is playing well.
He is.
But speaking of making changes, it's all about people losing jobs. Fred Hoiberg is out as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
4 years too late.
Yes. Yes.
Way too late. That guy should have never left Iowa State. He had it made there. He played there, I believe. He was from the area, I think. He should have never left. The Bulls should have never hired him. But, yeah, he'll be a good college coach somewhere else now.
Yeah, and, lost his opportunity to be at his alma mater, which is just crazy. The Bulls were 5-19. So I'm going to give you a little stat here about he was 115 and 155.
I actually just looked at that.
Okay.
Did I ruin it?
No.
Okay.
I was just telling you. At Iowa State, how many games do they play in a college basketball season?
30
some?
Something like that.
Yeah, and you play 82. And in 4 seasons, he was 115 and 155. He had the same amount of wins at Iowa State. 115 and 56.
Oh my gosh. That's so bad. That proves that not every college coach is going to immediately go to the pros and have a ton of success. Poor guy. He's going to be a great college coach somewhere. That's just what he should be. That's what he is.
So where do the Bulls go from now?
they've promoted. Not just he's not the interim. Their assistant is now their head coach. I think they're going to go with him moving forward at least until the end of the year for sure. But I think he's on contract till the end of next season. So you got to hope he can get Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, Larry Markkinen, Wendell Carter Jr. You got to hope he can get those guys to the next level, because this is a very talented roster if you're looking at it from a youth perspective.
So he coached, for 6 seasons at Iowa State and won 115 games.
Coached 4 in the NBA.
4 in the NBA, where they play 82 games and 32 at college, and he won 115 and 6 and 115 and 4 at.
Oh my gosh,
that's Chicago.
That's ridiculous.
That's so bad.
Last year he won 27. That's so bad. Ugh.
Oh. Well,
and I don't think anyone liked him.
No. It didn't work out well for him.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think he will absolutely find a college job.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward finally showing some flashes of what we thought he was. Obviously, the broken leg set him back. But now the Celtics are finally kind of seeing what they got, a 118-109 win over the Timberwolves. Where do you see the Celtics and Hayward going, kind of springing off that 30-point performance?
I hope they can turn it around quick, because they're not running out of time, but they need to get it together quick. Him coming off the bench, I think, is really good for him and the team, because that gives you a chance to start like Marcus Smart, and I can't remember who they've been starting instead, but they got to start one of those guys that's kind of crazy, like Marcus Smart or Marcus Morris, or one of those guys off the bench. And I think Gordon Hayward off the bench is great. A couple of years ago, he was one of the best players in the NBA, and if he's coming off your bench, that's obviously a good thing, and it seems to be working for him. He obviously had the 30-point game. He almost had a triple-double, I believe, in that game. He's been playing really well as of late, so hopefully he can use that to kind of get back into rhythm, and then maybe he can move back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that there's so many players in Boston, and with Brad Stevens, as smart as a coach as he is, and they're struggling offensively. They're a really good defensive team, but I just have a hard time believing with that much talent and that intelligent of a coach that they're going to struggle for 82 games.
Right, yeah. In that 30-point game, he had 39 and 8, so almost a triple-double off the bench. That's a good bounce-back kind of game. Hopefully he can build on that and continue forward.
So the 76ers are 8-2 since they traded for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Markelle Fultz is trying to, I guess, consult with every doctor
That's good.
The country.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going on with him.
Yeah.
But 8-2 since they traded for Jimmy Butler. Is that impressive to you? Do you think Jimmy Butler has a lot to do in that? What's going on in Philadelphia?
I think they were obviously a good team anyway. I think just adding Jimmy Butler makes them better at the end of the season, not so much in the regular season, because I think they could win a lot of regular season games. But he's hit 2 game winners for them. I think he just takes them to that next level. He gives them what kind of the Timberwolves wanted, is some veteran leadership maybe. I think he gels a lot better with these guys than he did in Minnesota. And Minnesota's been doing pretty good since they traded for Jimmy Butler as well. I think they had a 4-game win streak in that span, a 3-game win streak too. I can't remember exactly. Do you remember what day he was traded?
It was early in November.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have seemed to have benefited from the trade, which is very rare, and we'll see if that's the case at the end of the year. But the Timberwolves seem to be doing a lot better. Karl-Anthony Towns has had kind of a renaissance this season. After Jimmy has left, he's kind of picked up his game to where he was last year. Derrick Rose is still playing really well. Robert Covington's been great for them. He's been their best defensive player they've had in the past 2 years, including Jimmy Butler. And Dario Saric he's been nice. He's been what he is.
So you think Jimmy Butler is a big part of this?
In Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also seemed to help Minnesota quite a bit by
addition by subtraction.
By getting him out of there.
Yeah.
It seems to have worked for everyone like that. So Steph Curry is back on the court finally.
After 3 weeks.
Now Kevin Durant does not have to drop 50 points a game to try and win.
Yeah, they did lose in his debut though, which is kind of sad. They lost to the Pistons, but Steph Curry, I thought he played all right. You know, they're going to be so much better whenever he gets back into a rhythm of things. There was times he seemed kind of hesitant he didn't really understand what he was supposed to do. He wasn't used to playing in the games, but like you said, it's going to make it so much easier for Kevin Durant. Doesn't have to go out there and drop 50 or 40 or whatever he was averaging while Steph was out. So that's good for the Warriors. It's bad for the rest of the NBA because they're still in second place with him missing 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think the people wanted to make the Golden State Warriors the Knicks for the past 2 weeks, and it just has not been the case. They kind of showed it last year, losing some games that they had no business losing.
Yeah.
And that's probably just the fatigue of what they've been able to do. I don't think they care. As long as they know if they make the playoffs, they'll win.
Right.
And that's all that matters to them, not first or second or anything like that. What matters is getting to the playoffs, and they know that they could take half their team away and still make the playoffs in the Western Conference and be the best team in the league. So we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about all the Cowgirls and Cowboys on the court this past weekend and where they go from now. We'll take a quick break on 101 at OSU Student Radio KCY Suddenlink Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to 101 on OSU Student Radio KXUI Suddenlink Channel 112. Live from Studio 318. It's just a mess today, Logan. But we'll get into kind of a bad weekend for Oklahoma State basketball.
Yeah.
The Cowgirls fell yesterday to number 11 Tennessee 76-63. They did have the lead at halftime. A good showing from the Cowgirls, their first loss of the season, but the talent and size of Tennessee was just too much for them to handle at the end.
Yeah, but we kind of talked about it during the break. They've got a lot of young girls on this Oklahoma State team that are going to be good in the future. There's not a lot of upperclassmen leadership. Trying to remember off the top of my head, Thompson.
Jaden Hobbs is out there.
Yeah,
so.
and I mean Braxton Miller's only a sophomore, if I'm remembering correctly. So I mean, it's a good building block. This season, I don't think they're going to go win a national championship or anything like that, but yeah, I'm looking at this right now. It's a lot of freshmen on the roster. I'm trying to think. Latasha Jones is a senior. Carly Wheeler is a senior. Maria Castro is a senior. The rest are sophomores, freshmen, and 3 juniors. So not a lot of veteran leadership, but you need to succeed in college basketball still. And even in the men's side, the one and done does not dominate college basketball.
No.
At all, really. I mean, there was a couple of years where obviously Anthony Davis won that national championship, but that's kind of getting on a tangent. So I thought it was a good game, even though it was a loss. Obviously, no losses are good, but there's something to learn here in this loss, and I think it's going to help in 2 years more than it helps in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to be a pretty good basketball team, but I mean, Tennessee's the winningest program in women's basketball history. It was just too much.
I agree. And I mean, they're still in the middle of the Big 12, only behind Baylor, Kansas, Texas, and Iowa State, sitting at 6-1. Big 12 play is about to start up in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, they had the lead at halftime. It's not like they were utterly dominated. Right. They just had a real, I believe they went like 2 for 14 in the third quarter yesterday. So it was a little rough. But and also a rough patch for the Cowboy basketball team. Yeah. They went up to Minneapolis, played in U.S. Bank Stadium. They lost to Minnesota 83-76. Jordan Murphy had his 51st double-double. The Cowboys played all right. They got down and fought their way back. They had a real chance at the end. They just couldn't make shots. Yeah. But they got in foul trouble. So they were rotating Cam McGriff and Uri out, and it just never came together for long enough to be able to overcome that deficit they got to Minnesota. But an 83-76 loss. So what did you – I mean, they've overcorrected their non-con from last year. Yeah. And it seems to be hurting them just a little bit.
Yeah, but – what would we be talking about if they were rolling over, teams like the UTSA that no one's ever heard of? We'd be like, that's great, but who are they? We at least know Minnesota's a good program, Villanova's a good program. I'm not going to mention the other loss, but these are good. I keep saying building blocks because this is another young team that doesn't have very high expectations. If you look outside of Oklahoma State, people predict us to finish last in the Big 12. Right now they're right, but I would argue we played one of the better non-cons in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time believing we're worse than Baylor and OU.
I agree. I think we're better than Baylor. I think we're better than West Virginia.
Yeah.
We're better than OU for sure. I'm surprised Texas is 5-2 right now.
They've got a lot. Texas is going to be really good.
I think Texas is probably the second best team in the conference. It's either them or Iowa State, in my opinion. But, I mean, yeah, it's too early to look at the standings and see how it's going to shape out at the end of the year. But, I mean, we've got Tulsa coming up, Houston. That's going to be another big home game. I believe that's Saturday. Tulsa's in 2 days, right? Tulsa's Wednesday.
Yeah, at Tulsa. Then Houston, and then they go play 24 Nebraska in South Dakota for some reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, they've overcorrected maybe on the non-conference schedule. But I like it. I like having a tough non-conference schedule because at least if you lose, you're going to get better. You're going to be able to watch this film and point out where you can get better.
Well, if Minnesota, Nebraska, and obviously Villanova have good chances to be tournament teams. Yeah. If you lose to a tournament team.
Houston could be a tournament team too.
Yeah, if you lose to these teams and you do enough in the conference, losing to those teams works better in your favor than beating no one. So I guess it works in their favor, but they might have overcorrected just a little bit. But some good news for the Cowboys yesterday. They landed a top 100 guard in Devontae Davis.
It's exciting. We've talked about it, I think, privately. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but Mike Boynton can get out there and recruit. So we'll have to see if he's as good a coach as we all think, because I think everyone here thinks he's going to be a great basketball coach. And if he can bring more guys like this in, it's going to be good. It's going to be a great time in a couple of years for Oklahoma State fans. Sadly, it'll be probably after you and I are out of here.
Well, you already said you're going to go back and get that second degree.
I'm going to get second, third, fourth, fifth.
Get the economic. As long as they're winning, you'll stay.
Yeah, basically. If they're hanging banners, I'll be a student.
Well, I think they have, with that talent and what he's shown, and nothing against the people last year and, the guys on the team this year, but there's a lot more talent coming in. Yeah. And you've seen what he can do with these guys and what he can do with, they've got their best recruiting class in 11 years. Yeah. And they haven't won anything. Right. But they will. You saw Gal Gribe a couple times last year. Just remarkable. Yeah. It was the loudest. I've told you this before. I was in Arrowhead when they set the record for being the loudest outdoor stadium in the world. Being in Gal Gribe is, and obviously it's indoors, so it's a little bit different, but it was nauseating. That's how it hurt. It gave you a headache. Yeah. That's how loud it was, but you loved every second of it, beating Kansas and beating OU the way they were able to do it. So, if you can bring a kid in, one, I don't know how you could tell Mike Boynton no if he sits on your couch and looks at you. Anyone would run through a brick wall for that guy. He's a heck of a motivator. He's a good basketball coach, and I think he's an even better guy. But if you take what, Mike Boynton as a person and as a coach is very convincing, and you see that, and you come to Galgaraiba playing your biggest rival, and the best guy in college basketball at the time in Trae Young is going to try and take the winning shot, and you look and Mike Boynton slapping the floor. Yeah, I want to play for that guy in this environment. Oklahoma State basketball has been down for a long time. They can be, universities self-promote like crazy. The football team will tell you about history and culture. Well, they don't hold a candle to 75% of the programs that have history. Oklahoma State basketball props up their basketball program a lot, but Galgaraiba is underrated. I don't know if our crew or anyone has been in Galgaraiba when it's loud and when it's rowdy. It's one of the best in the country, and it's not being biased. That's because it truly, truly is. So
I agree. And I want to point this out because we talked about the losses. We didn't talk about the good wins. They beat a Memphis team who is pretty good. Penny Hardaway's the coach. They're going to get a lot better, too, as the years goes on because he's going to be able to bring guys in. Just landed the #1 recruit. And then number 19 LSU. You win that game by 13.
Yeah.
That's going to look good at the end of the year as long as LSU continues to keep winning. So I think we've kind of seen what this team can do. They can definitely show up and beat good teams, but there are certain things, like you mentioned, the foul trouble can take them out. A poor shooting night from DeZagua could probably hurt them pretty bad. And Cam McGriff, he seems to be kind of the most important guy this year. He seems to be the Jeffrey Carroll, the Mitchell Solomon, that kind of guy this year. So if he's in foul trouble or having a bad night, they might be in trouble, but they're looking good.
Yeah, he had 28 points against Minnesota. He's leading the team in scoring. We're going to wrap it up here, but are they a tournament team? I'll ask you this every week. Where we're on pace for right now, where you see the trajectory going.
Right now, we'll be back in the NIT.
I have to agree with you right now, but maybe they could change.
Yeah, hopefully when we come back after Christmas, it's different.
Well, we're going to take a 48-hour break, 47-hour break, I guess. We'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you for watching One-on-One. OSU Student Radio KXUI, Starlink Channel 112. We'll see you Wednesday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.